Welcome to Flosstube, take 3. Good morning and welcome to Justsewsherrie. I'm Justsewsherrie here on YouTube, forgot where I was there, and also over on Instagram as well. Well, hello and welcome. I'm hoping this will be the take that you get to see. We're only on 3. Could rack up a couple of numbers before you see this, but I'm hoping, I'm praying. And so's Charlie. Charlie's here, very excited to see everybody. I will show Charlie. Charlie is sitting on my finishes. Because that's what cats do. They find out where you don't want them to sit and they promptly park there. For anybody who doesn't know and who's joined me along the way, Charlie is not my cat. Although there might be news on that front. Charlie's official home is 2 doors that away, only he kind of lives here pretty much. I don't know why he's up here so early. Never mind, he's just followed me up. Where am I? Who am I? It's 7 o'clock in the morning. It is the 1st of June, Saturday morning. I should have washed my hair when I was in the shower, but I haven't. I couldn't be bothered. So I'm sorry it looks like I've been washed in chip pan fat, as my mum would have said. Yeah, I've gone into my usual... Right, I've said hello, now where do I start? I start with a very big thank you to a lady called Rosa, who won one of my giveaways. I think it was the bag, I think it was a project bag. And she bought me a cuppa, which was really, really lovely. Not needed, but very, very lovely, and I'm very, very grateful. And if anybody else does want to buy me a cuppa, feel free, the link's below. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. If you want to just have your cuppa with me now, because that's why we're here. Oh, and look, I've got my favourite new cup, Cowslip Workshops, from where the Stacey Nash retreat was held. And this is fast turning into actually one of my favourite cups. I was going to say something there as well. Forget. Menopause brain. Welcome to the world of menopause. To be fair, I used to forget things before, so it's significant. It's significant now. Apart from, I think I told you about it around Christmas time when I was at my mum and dad's house and I was looking for something. My dad says, "What? Have you lost something?" I went, "Yes, I've forgotten something. I've lost something." And he says, "Well, what is it?" I went, "Well, I don't know. I don't know. I just knew something. I was missing something." Turns out it was my brother. But there you go. Because brothers are always easy to forget. So, let's start with Justsewsherrie. No, let's backtrack one and let's say absolutely massive, huge welcome to my new subscribers, of which there've been quite a few, which is ticking me ever closer towards that 3k. I'm not really, I was thinking about it this morning and I thought, do you know, I'm kind of not that bothered about the numbers. I think it's just because I've got some stuff to give away, and because it's what it's like, yeah, a couple of big things and stuff from market this year. I kind of think, oh, well, I might do a big display, if you like. A big display, like a big giveaway. And that would tie in to a 3k giveaway. But now I'm getting kind of sick of waiting for it. So I might do an almost 3k giveaway. Works for me. Does it work for you? If not, go and get your granny, your auntie, your kids mates. Get them to subscribe. They don't need to ever watch. That's fine. But it just means I can crack on with this bloody 3k giveaway. And thank you to Chris the Camping Stitcher, who also gave me a shout out on Instagram to help me get there. Much appreciated, Chris. And I suspect quite a few of you new subscribers have landed here because of her. So huge thank you and huge welcome. And if this is your first time, had on your hats, Hinny. Hinny's a Geordie word, which Pauline from Soapy Bags on Instagram, she used that the other day. She sent me a message that said, "Nae bother, hinny." I was like, "How do you know Geordie?" Apparently she's been trained in Geordie. It's an official language. So, where are we? Justsewsherrie. Back to Justsewsherrie. We will get there. Oh, God. And we'll get to that as well. Justsewsherrie are moments that things I do that are just quite normal for me, but are a bit daft, There's times I worry about how I even made it to adulthood, put it that way. So it jumps on directly from the last Flosstube I did. As you will remember, I was having hissies about me cups of tea because I was going for a procedure. Not a very exciting one. I make it sound all cloak and dagger. It was an endoscopy. That's all it was. It's nothing wonderfully exciting. And I wasn't allowed to eat or drink for 6 hours beforehand. So I was desperately trying to get these cups of tea into me before 8 o'clock, for anybody who didn't see my last one. Now I'll start back from the beginning. I went to the doctor about some problems I was having, and she said, "I'll get you to have an endoscopy. It'll be booked through this hospital at such and such a place. And apparently you've had some really good results from there. And the patients are really happy about it." Right, okay, whatever. So Julie gets this letter through for my appointment. So does all the things I'm meant to have done, starves myself. I mean, I nearly wasted away. I fainted 3 times at least from nearly dying because I've got no fat on us, have I? Yeah. But I was quite bloody hungry by the time I got there. So I got there and this consultant came out and said hello, and I went into his little room and there was just like a normal doctor's bed, like a patient's bed, and I thought, it looks a bit weird turns out it wasn't my appointment at all in any way, shape or form. It was an appointment to go and see him, to see what he thought, and that was it. I was in and out in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, starving still, and I was just like, I can't believe that's just happened. Like, I've just starved myself for no bloody reason. But the best of it is, when I think back, they didn't really send me the information for what to do before it. They sent me a questionnaire that I had to fill in online, and it said, these are the things that will probably happen. Because I was right wound up for it, because I didn't have anybody to give the lift back, so I was going to have it without sedation. So I was in the zone. I was really in the zone. Now I know why they didn't give me instructions, because it was never going to happen. So the next time I get an appointment through for anything, and I'm not quite sure, I might just ring up and ask and just double check that my understanding is the same as the medical people's understanding of what's going to happen. So now I'm going to have to go through another way of starving myself, another day of starving myself for no particular reason. Not amused. One is not amused. But I did enjoy my food afterwards, I have to confess. I mean, I normally enjoy my food anyway, but that was a special. Enjoying my food. So, here we go, cross stitch. That is why we're here. I've got a few piles. I've got some finishes, I've got some new starts, I've got some whips, I've got a few gifts that I've bought for myself, and I've got some Stitchy Kindness, and I've got a cat, as you've just seen. News on Charlie. His mum came to see me. He's just waggled his ears because he knows his name. his mum came out. I'll talk quietly so that he doesn't actually hear, because I don't think he wants to hear this bit. No, actually he might. His mum is looking to move. She's just had a new baby who is weirdly 1 now. I don't know how that happened. Apparently it's because these days add up to a year, so there you go. So she's looking to move because she's in a 2-bed at the moment. She wants a 3-bed because she's already got a little girl as well. She basically had this conversation with me to say, if I move, I think he's happier with you. As in, waiting for me to take the bait and say, okay, we'll see, he's my cat. So I just said, well, we'll see what happens. You haven't moved yet. But yes, if he wants to stay, he can stay with me. That's fine. So we're kind of going from 2.75 of the cats, because I've got 2 of my own. We're creeping. I think we're at 2.85 now. I think Charlie's grown up into a 0.85. And I'll just whisper, he might be going to stay here with Auntie Sherrie. I'm looking at him like he can actually understand what I'm saying. Maybe he can, you never know. So that's Charlie's news. Let's go on to finishes. Oh, I'm getting the look of disgust because I'm going to have to move them. The first one was Stitches Through the Years, and it was Summer Quaker, Mini Summer Quaker. Can't see. Oh, that's it. And I did it with all of the called for DMC. I think the Week's Dye Works. I could be wrong, but I think they are. That's called for on the pattern, but there's a DMC equivalent. So I've done it with the DMC. It is done on 20 count Megan Coffee, 20 count brown sugar by Fibre on a Whim. 1/1. It's come out lovely, really lovely. And because I've done this one, I've done the autumn one, I've done the winter. So I just need to do the spring one. And if you remember, I was talking last time saying I kind of wish I'd cracked on with the spring because I could have had it done and then started on summer now while I was still in summer. So at some point I might pick up spring and just go for it. It's going to have to be out of season, I think, because then I'll have all 4 done. And this year, my 24 and 24 was kind of all about having seasonal. I'm doing the 12 mini monthly Quakers. I was doing the blue flower seasonal. I'm doing some seasonal of Heart in Hand. I didn't pick these because I'd already done one of them. So I didn't match it into my round number of 4 because I'd already done one. So, yes. So I was going to finish them all into just little pillows because they're nice and small. Be nice in one of my door balls. And then it occurred to me these would be a really lovely size for a needle book. So, I mean, it's kind of the perfect size, isn't it, for a little needle book. And then it occurred to me, and they would be lovely for small exchange, what do you call them? Retreat exchanges? Gift exchanges, I don't know. You know when you do something and give it away and you get something back and you don't know who's getting what. It would be really nice for one of them. And then I'm feeling guilty because if I was going to do a smalls exchange, that's what it's called, a smalls exchange. If I was going to do that, then I would be doing it consciously while stitching it. And I've got this theory, well, I haven't got a theory, but I've got an interest in the psychology behind how I embroider things, how the threads that I'm stitching with pick up the stories of the day. So for example, if I'm watching a particular TV programme or listening to a book, I can pick it up again and I go right back to where that book, which book I was listening to and what was happening. And it's the same with people. If I'm doing something for somebody, naturally I'm thinking about them as I'm doing it. So I kind of feel a little bit guilty that if I was to do these into needle books and then just have them in for smalls exchanges, it means I haven't thoughtfully done them for somebody specific at that smalls exchange, and therefore the threads wouldn't carry the stories. Does that make sense? Or they wouldn't carry the correct stories, I should say. Yes, I know I have a strange way of thinking. I think it's perfectly normal, but apparently other people think it's not. Let me know if somebody understands that and gets it and thinks the same. I'd be interested to know if it's just me being totally mad or whether there is a little bit of sanity in that. I don't know. Second one is one of my 24 and 24, which the aforementioned that I talked about. This is Heart in Hand Autumn Wee Bird, and it is done on 36 count winter moon 1/2, and I did replace some of the threads. So I did the little bird, we talked about this last time, I did the little bird in DMC 3799 because I didn't want it black, and I didn't have the colour for the pumpkin, so I picked my own. And because it's, as you can see, it's a chunky piece of stitching, I wanted an over dyed, so I literally just picked my own, and I picked Brandied Pears by Classic Colourworks, and I think I made up the green as well. I'm pretty sure I did. So that is that. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to finish these. I've done, which one's that one? Stitching. That's Stitching Bird, and finished it into there. But that's always going to stay up, whereas these are seasonal. Now, me monthly Quakers, I've got one frame. I'm making them and then just alternating them into the same frame, because I'm not going to have every month up all year round. I'm going to have that month up while we're in that month. So it makes sense to just have one frame and swap them all into it. So maybe I need to buy one or two frames, because you can have autumn up as well as Halloween, because I've just done Halloween as well. I need to put some thought into that. If anyone's got any suggestions, maybe get two frames, so that I can have, say, winter and Christmas and autumn and Halloween at the same time. Spring and Easter. For the American girls, it would be summer and Independence Day maybe, so something patriotic. You can see the cogs turning, can't you? They're very rusty cogs that are turning, but they are turning. That might work. That might work. I might need to get 2 frames, and then that would work. And now we'll come to the one that Charlie really is lying on. To be fair, he has, just let me squeeze this out, son. I don't know why we flipping, what do you call it? Oh, take the claw out. Don't be putting your claws in me work. Not this one anyway. Cats always find the best thing that you really, really want or really, really need and lie in it. I've put a towel down here for him because he doesn't like to lie on just the bench, you know. I mean, King Charles, you know, he deserves better, doesn't he? So anyway, I did put this one on Instagram because I'm hugely proud of it, and it is my Stitch in London retreat piece. all finished. Bring it in. Bring it in. Oh, me thingied off. So when you saw it last, I was just on the phrase at the bottom here. I need to move, hang on a second, wait, I'll move you over a bit. I was at the phrase on the bottom here, and I still had a couple of the border lines to go. Now, firstly, I stitched this on 36 counts of macaque, 1/2. I used the called for apart from, I substituted corn silk. It was Weeks Dye Works corn silk for the border, and I substituted that for Ye Old Gold from Classic Colourworks, just to give it a bit more definition. And then at the bottom, my surname is Dodd. So, and this is where we left it. I was saying to you, what do you think? I was thinking about putting the red in, but I didn't know if it sort of clashed too much or just clashed enough so that you could see it. So I wasn't sure. Anyway, I went with the red a couple of days after I'd filmed my last Flosstube, and I think it has actually worked okay. I think it's worked fairly well until, now I need to find her name, but there was a lady said, and it was only three or 4 days ago, she said, why don't you do it in green, in a dark green? And I thought, why didn't I think of that? So yes, I could take it out. It's only 4 letters. It's not a big deal. And I could redo it in green. But I'm kind of now at the point of, no, Sherrie, go with it. It's done. It looks fine. Well, it looks good. It does look good. Well, I think it looks good. Green potentially might have looked better, but I'm going with this being my choice. So had I read that comment before I'd done it, I possibly would have changed it. The only reason I wouldn't have is because I'm not a green girl generally. Although that appears to be changing. I appear to be turning into a very green girl. That's that. Chuffed to bits with it. Stitch in London. I went there in February, and it was run by Michelle, Mama Loves You, JB, and Marie from Stitches and Diamonds, and it was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Loved it, loved it. If you get the chance to go to one of the stitch, this was the specific sampler edition that I went to in February, and I'm going to the normal one that just Marie organises in, I don't know if it's October. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So yeah, if you get the chance to go, I'd highly recommend one of theirs. Okie doke. New starts. So I have, I've put this as a new start, and it's not really, because I showed you last time. However, I had only done 1 stitch, no, 1 and 2 half stitches in it. So this is Love Poppet, Dreaming of Summer Sal, and it started on middle of May, 15th, 16th of May, and I was very kindly gifted this from Claire of Love Poppet, and that is the first part. The second part came out, what day is it today? Saturday. Second part came out Thursday, 2 days ago. Had I finished the first part by the second part? Why, not bloody likely. Of course I haven't. But I did have a relatively, well, I had a better start than I did have, put it that way. So that is the start I've got. And that is a needle minder from Just Get Stitching, one of her resin needle minders. And this is done on a very light peach fabric. And the best of it is, I was doing it maybe last Saturday, and I was right in the zone with it. You know how you get into a zone with a piece? And I had to put it down. I think because I needed to get on with some Mirabilia stuff. And I should have gone with it because I was right in the zone. And then, of course, I haven't really picked it up since. So, note to self. There's me. After saying I was just going to stitch what I wanted last time, and then I didn't. Force these rules on myself, don't I? But I suppose it is to get progress, isn't it? That's the whole point of it. So the second part has now come out, and it is the top of a house, which is very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be here. I haven't printed it out yet, but the little house. And I wasn't expecting it. I really wasn't expecting it. I expected it to be a circle of flowers, to be honest. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what it is. So I'll show you the threads. These are glorious. Absolutely glorious. Aren't they fabulous? Really are. Beautiful. Proper summer. Proper summer. And this is in a new one of these, what do you call them? Project bags. From Rachel Talking Dog Stitcher, who has got some majorly exciting news. She's just announced that she is opening an online needle workshop on the 15th of June. So mark your diaries, lasses, save your pennies, and let's support Rachel. And I know she's going to be stocking some of our homegrown Flosstuber patterns. She's put out some posts on Instagram, which is where I saw one of them, and my gifts may be from her shop. Maybe, baby. Okie doke, next one. Forgot to open this, sorry, because I'm professional today and I've got my mic out. So I finished Autumn Bird, so totally out of season, but I want to crack on while I can. So I am now going to do Christmas Bird by Heart and Hand. So this is the third of, no, it's not the third. I should have got me. It's just here. It's just here. Right, and I've lost my glasses again. Surprise, surprise. So these are me normal varifocal ones that are all shiny and horrible, and I can't see yous in anyway. Christmas number 20. So I have designated this number 20 on my 24 and 24. He's lush, isn't he? So for my 24 and 24, a lot of people are doing them as 24 starts in 24. My effort was going to be 24 start and finishes in 2024, which is why I've picked some small ones, and so that I can get them finished. So this is my start, very small start. My needle minder came from Historical Sampler, the Advent Calendar, which I'm starting to see posts about again. I'm very tempted to get the Historical Sampler one again for this year. I enjoyed it last year. So that is quite a small start. I am doing it on the same as the others, 36 count Winter Moon 1/2. Have I substituted? Well, let me have a look. Yes. The only one I am substituting is it's not even worth noticing. It's the only one I'm substituting is the little trim on his hat, which is meant to be ecru, but that's the same colour as this pretty much. So I was going to change it for tin white. We will see when I get there. But I've got sort of tin white, which is 01. I've got it sort of marked as a possibility. I keep losing you. You keep going black. And my final new start is the restart for the third time. Yes, third time I have started this. I am getting a bit hacked up with it, to tell the truth. Now this is number 22 on my 24 and 24. And it is Ink Circles Thistle Crown. This has been the bane of my life. So I started it on brown sugar, 20 count brown sugar, fibre on a whim. It looked awful. So I had done a lot of the top here and down here, and I'd started to come down here, but it just looked rotten. It just didn't go at all, in my opinion. So I actually, because I'd done quite a bit, I just cut the top off the fabric, binned it and started again. And I started again on a cream 16 count by DMC. And it just didn't feel right. Now it's stitched with silks. Oh, I've got the wrong threads out. There's two patterns in this project bag. There's another ink circles. So these are stitched with silks. They're Gloriana, and I have substitute because I couldn't get a hold of Elizabethan green. So I've substitute that for whatever that says on there, the Belsoir collard green. You can read it, I can't. Because number one, it's backwards, and number two, I haven't got my glasses on. And the more I was stitching on it, using silks with Ada, I'd never done it before, it didn't feel right. And I don't mean that in a snobby way, as in I don't want to use silks with my Ada. What I meant was, as I was stitching it, it didn't feel right. So I use Ada a lot. Well, I do stitch with Ada. I'm more than happy to stitch with Ada. And I enjoy the sound of it. I enjoy the scratchy sort of pull through of the thread. If I'm feeling really angsty in life, quite often I'll pick up an Ada stitch and I have all the tally and everything off. I live alone, so I haven't got, other than Charlie and my two howling, I haven't got any other sounds, and I can literally sit and stitch and have that ASMR, is it called? The sound, like meditative sound of the thread going in and out and in, and I'll slow it down deliberately so that I can enjoy the process of the stitch up, the stitch down, the stitch, and hence the meditative thing. And these are things that I've always done innately. It's only fairly recently when I've started stitching on things like linen and even weave that it's come to the fore that they are things that I enjoy about the stitching. It's not just about the pattern that I get at the end, it's about the process. So I'm more of a process, not a product stitcher. So back to this one. When I was stitching in and out with the silk on Ada, it wasn't right. It just wasn't right. And I was chatting to, I had some lovely ladies on my table at the Stacey Nash retreat in Cornwall, Sue and Siobhan, and I was chatting to Sue about it, and she was like, oh no, I don't think I could use silk on Ada. It just wouldn't go. And it doesn't, and it didn't. It just didn't go. So I scratched that, I hadn't done as much as I had on the first one, but I had done a little bit of the line. I'd done half along the line here to about here of the border when I gave it up as a bad job. Hence, fast forward, the third start. So I am now doing it on my very favouriteest 36 count winter moon. And here we are. So it's a very small start, but I wanted to deliberately, have I got any white pages that can hold? Oh, I've got one of these, which I've dropped. Pick up another one. There, that's it. So it's a small start because all I want to do was test the threads and the fabric, because I am not, I repeat, I am not starting this again. If I have to start this again, it will be UFO'd. I will never stitch it. So this is it. It's on the Last Chance Saloon. So far, so good. But I need to be very, very careful because, and we will discuss this when I show you a fully finished in a couple of months. It's already done and framed, it's just that I've got to pick it up, that's all. So once I can show you, we'll discuss it. But these are quite deep colours, and it's winter moon, and it's quite an open weave. So I need to be careful that I'm not carrying threads right, left and centre. So I need to be very careful about that. But that was at least 10 minutes to tell you that it's the third start, and I'm a bit hacked off with it. My other start in here, since I've got it here with those other threads, is the Ink Circles Wilderness, and I haven't gotten very far on that either. That is Ada, but it's been stitched with Classic Colourworks. That's as far as I got on that one, and that was because when I looked at it, I thought it was like a sage green, and it wasn't. It was a grey. Which I was talking about this in one of the stitching like WhatsApp groups I'm in the other day, about you just can't see colours on lines. One of the girls was saying, I would like to do this colour. I would like to stitch this house in the colour of my house, and we can't figure it out online. And we had this sort of discussion and some photos over. I was saying, I think this thread will work well, but you can't see it. I can see it because the photo I'm showing you doesn't look like it will work well, but I think it will. And one of the other girls had said, and you see I've got that, it was an over dye thread, and mine was like a yellowy with a hint of gold thread, and hers was very brown, exactly the same thread. So the life and times of a stitcher. I mean, it's pretty traumatising, all this colour stuff and stitching stuff and scratching and listening. Look, I'm showing you my ear. I'm showing you my ear because I was talking about the sound of it. That was it. I need to show you my ear so that you know what I'm talking about, the sound. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh Charlie, it's all gone. It's all gone wrong. Right, not far in. Let's get to whips. This is my, I should have told you where all my bags were from as I go. I haven't done that for a while. This is one of my favourite bags in the world, and it might be the most favourite bag in the world. This is by Tracy Dixon from our North East Stitchers group. Now I hope to God I've got the name right, because basically I'd reversed the names on her and her sister, and I'm trying to think what her name is and then think, no, that's not her name, it's the opposite one. I think it was Tracy, and I love that. This one is William Morris, and it is by Patchwork Paw Print on Etsy. It's a vinyl front bag. This one is a Sarah bag, not enough whip bags, that I got at one of the retreats. And in here I have been, this is one of my sloggy pieces it's turned into. But I'm determined to power through it, even if it's a little bit at a time. Jardin Privé. This was last summer stitch. I was really enjoying this last summer. And then it just they get taken over, don't they, by things. So, and I'm now at what I call the snagging stage. So it's going back and doing little bits and pieces. Where's that meant to be? My usual working thread, and it's not a working, it's just in the. So how far have I got? I've finished him. I put his little green in of his stalk, and I've done the flower, most of the flower on him, and the stalk on him as well. I have done a little heart in pink. The hearts are all meant to be brown. I'm doing them in random colours, like these random colours. Mixing and matching. And the biggest part I have started is we talked about this the last time, I am changing the colours of the cats to ones that I've got. So this one, I've got two tabby cats, silver tabbies at the moment, German Scout, and Jem had Pooly Paw. If you follow me on Instagram, he was a proper little wounded soldier, God love him. Anyway, he's better now, by the way. He had to have this big pot on to cover it. Sliced, you know how you have your like beanie paws, sort of 2 or 3 around here, and then your big one at the back. He'd sliced right through, and it was really deep. I didn't realise how deep it was until the vet sort of had a look and opened it and went, oh, that's nasty. I was like, oh, my poor little soldier's been wounded. So they had to keep him and put him under sedation. It all had to be stitched. So he was at the vet's for a day, which he was chuffed to bits with. And I thought, he's never going to forgive us. Within 20 minutes of being home, he never left my side. Everywhere I went, he had his little paw on us, like, just stay there, Mum, just don't leave us again. I mean, it was like, I was saying to the girls, it was like heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. He had antibiotics and anti-inflammatories and all of this good stuff. And it was dead funny because when the veterinary nurse came out to sort of hand him over to us, when I went to pick him up, she said he's been feeling really sorry for himself. He's just hidden under the covers all day. She says, so I've put the wild tiger print on him to help him be a brave boy. And there's me thinking, I'm nuts with me animals. It's like, yeah, I'm sure that'll help him be a bit. So he was a very brave soldier because he had his wild tiger print on, but he's all better now. Well, it's virtually healed now. So, yeah, all's well that ends well, even though it was a significant dent in my cross-stitching funds to sort him out. Never mind. So what we were discussing was I'm going to stitch the cats in the colours of cats that I've had. And I was struggling with the orange. The orange, because I had, my very first cat was ginger and white, Sammy. And the orange just didn't go with the rest of the piece. But I wanted to include her because she was kind of where it all started. So anyway, I have gone with a Classic Colourworks glazed carrots, so you can see there. So basically it's a very light orange, darkish peach, and because it's variegated. So what I'm starting to do though, you'll see. Charlie, I know you're there. No, they don't want to sit. He wants to see the door and fans. Have you seen this? Charlie, are you going to say hello to your fans? Or not? No? No. Yes. Say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. Okay. He's obviously a bit hacked off that he's not included in this. Maybe I need to include him. So, yeah, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to leave sort of splodges of white. I'm going to do all the border of the cat in this orange, and then I'm going to leave sort of chunks of white, which I will stitch the white into probably. So it's coming on. It's coming on slowly, but it is coming on. I'll be pleased to get this finished. And I know what's going to take over this one. I'm going to pick up flea flowers, French flea flowers. Laurie Holt, is it? French market flowers. I'm making it up. It's a one with very sort of similar colours. It's sort of what I would call straight bright colours-ish. As in it's got, hasn't, oh, I've lost my needle minder. As in it's not like all over dyes or like a sampler or anything like that. I know what I'm talking about, right? You just keep up if you can. Yes, for anyone who's new here, it is definitely a keep up if you can. This is the one that I picked up after me Disturbed Women by Lucy Beam, which you can see there, which I have never finished, fully finishing. So it's sitting there. It's going to go on the door of me office, craft room, whatever you want to call it. So I missed that. So I picked up a new letter. What do you call it? Pattern. Words are starting to be hard. And this is as far as I am. I'm really, that's the back. See, it's not bad. That's not bad for a back. But that is the front. It looks a bit better. So it is coming on Old Salem Sanatorium. And I am doing this. I picked my own stuff. I'm doing it on charcoal, Weeks Dye Works. And I like this because this black, it's got like a greeny hint to it. This would be good if I was ever doing like an army stitch. This is a good sort of camouflage, as in British camouflage colours. So like the green and dark greens, not like the Iraq where they're in the lighter sort of desert camouflage colours. I know what I'm talking about. It's all starting to yeah, it's all starting to head into that area now. That area where Sherrie fails to make sense a lot. So that's what I liked for the Halloween. The Halloweeny colours is what I was thinking. It is being done on Primitive Hair 30 count crispy October. And it is much, it's got like a yellowy greeny hint to it, so it sets off the green in the black really well. So that is that, and I'm enjoying that, really enjoying that. And I know what I'm picking up. Do you know what it is? I can't even enjoy the one I'm on without thinking about the next one, because my plan is after this one to pick up the Apothecary one. I can see it in my head. I can't remember who did it though. Which I would call another Halloweeny one. This is another one of my 24 and 24. Some of you may remember that I lost June. June has remained lost. Charlie's sitting on the board I was using, so get another one. Yes, it has remained lost, so I am working on, oh dear, rolled all over this one. July, Quaker. So this is From the Heart, Needle Art by Wendy, and I'm doing the monthly Quakers as the backbone, I would say, of my 24 and 24. So I was up to June. June has vanished. I will not have June on display in my house because I don't have it. So I've moved on to July instead. And it's not doing too bad. It's not too... Who uses that phrase? It's not too shabby. Can't remember who it is. But it's coming on. And this is on 22 count hard hanger. And it works beautifully to fit into a 5x7 frame. So again, I was talking before about just having the one frame and switching it out every month. So now I think this is meant to be patriotic colours, as in, I don't know why Americans are so patriotic. We're not. Oh, well, I don't think I am. I don't know about anybody else. And I watched the cross-stitching girls who, they all like to do patriotic stuff, and I'm like, I'd like to be that patriotic about my country, and I'm just not. I suppose I am about Scotland, maybe. I'm more patriotic about Scotland than about England. But about being from Great Britain, I just happen to be born here. Is this a conversation I shouldn't be having out loud? Yeah. We should leave that one there, shouldn't we? Because I don't really know what I'm talking about, other than you American girls are really patriotic. I think it's fab. I would love to be that patriotic, and I'm just not. So, with that in mind, to my mind, these were stitched originally in the American flag colours. Well, the blue and the red were the American flag colours. So because I'm not American and I'm not patriotic, we've just discussed this, I changed them slightly, and I mean slightly. Now, I was changing it in, so I'm still doing the blues as is. And I was going to do this Christmas 666, this Christmas red. And I changed my mind because I thought, I don't want it Christmas, it's July. What colour do I want it in? I want it in like summery colours, and then I was thinking, well, what summery colours? Well, it's like oranges and bright reds and, you know, those sort of... So I changed my change to, I think that says 3705. 3705 DMC. And it is coming out lovely, really, really lovely. It's like an orangey coral red. It's beautiful. It's really, really gorgeous. I have to confess, this is one I'm chuffed to bits with me little self for picking, because it just works. To my mind, it works perfectly. We will talk about colours one day, because I've got some interesting things that I think are interesting about colour. You might not. You might go, I don't want to know, I just want to say across it. Sherrie, shut up, crack on. Oh, and that, I should have showed you. That's my little Newcastle United bee that I got off Sophie Stitchy Ferret. So if any of you want to support Newcastle, I've got a fly. Newcastle United. Yeah. Number one, you end up a bit mad, and but yeah, Sophie Stitchy Ferret is where I got, and I loved it so much I bought another one. I don't know if it's, yeah, it's sitting up there on me, on one of me little pots. Right, and there's more. There's more. So this one came out of the market this year, one of my favouriteest in all the world, Floral Etchings 2. I've done Floral Etchings 1 last year, and it was my favourite market release last year. I don't think it is this year. I don't know what it is really, but anyway, I think it's because, well, let's talk about it first. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Oh, that was the song. Remember, I was saying the other week, I love it, love it, love it. And I keep saying loving it like that. It is a tune. It's a tune from the 90s, I think it is, or the early noughties. and it was Rachel Talking Dog. Found it and sent it to me. I can't remember what it was now, but it was a tune, and it was a good tune. Yeah. So this has been done on 30, not 30 count at all, 40 count. I shouldn't use these bloody polystyrene boards, you know, because I've got my mic there. I'll try and keep it away. 40 count ballet slippers by Fox and Rabbit. I did my number 1 on if you know, you know. I'm not even gonna go there. I did the first one, I will amend to saying, on 32 count ballet slippers by Fox and Rabbit. And I didn't have any in because I wanted to do it on the same. I didn't have any in, but I had 40 count. Now, Sherrie, just do it. Just do it. They'll end up different sizes and it'll look cute because it'll be like a related little cousin or something like that. So this is as far as I am, and I am doing this on all. For once, I'm doing exactly, oh no, I'm not. I was going to say I'm doing exactly what I'm told and doing all the called for, but I'm not. See, another lie right there, caught out. I'm going to get to the gates of heaven and God's just going to go, you're just a big fat liar, Sherrie. You're not coming in. To be fair, he wouldn't let us in anyway for lots of different reasons, but yeah, this isn't confession, is it? So I am doing it with all of the called for, apart from this one. I've replaced this one, and this one is linen. This is linen, roasted marshmallow and conch. They're the 3 that seem to be interchangeable because I've had roasted marshmallow the same colour as this. I've had conch, the same colour as this. I've had roasted marshmallow, different colour. I've had linen, a different colour. Anyway, as you can see, it's virtually identical. So I switched this out for 3. This glasses malarkey is gonna 3865. What I call a soft white. So it is glorious though. I've forgotten how far along I was actually. I need to pick that up again. I put a lot of stuff down to try and get some progress on Mirabilia, which we haven't discussed yet. We will discuss Mirabilia very soon because we're nearly up to that part. And my last whip before we get to Mirabilia is an old favourite. My little old favourite. Whenever I'm in doubt, I return back to this one. Now, we talk about Chris the Camping Stitcher again. I can't remember what it was, but it was one of her designs. She had the flowers of Froglandia. And I was like, Froglandia, that is a place I know. I have been to Froglandia many, many times. It appears I love it because I keep going back to Froglandia. And I spent a significant amount of time in Froglandia this last fortnight. I'd like to say it was lovely. I wouldn't recommend it. It wouldn't get 5 stars on TripAdvisor. Not a hope. In fact, I wouldn't even... I mean, Airbnb can just take it off their books because it's not worth going. It's not worth going. I can tell you now. So this is my patchwork rabbit, which has been my heart stitch for, since about last October maybe. I love this. I absolutely love this. If you followed me, even just for the last couple, This is probably my favourite. And here we are. So I have done the new green square. And I've done quite a bit on it. And I've done more than you see there because I was about up to, let's get rid of this bloody thing. I was about up to here on it. And I caught my eye on that. And I was thinking, I wonder what animals we've got, because each square's got an animal in. I wonder what animals we've got in. And it had deer, and I'm thinking, that doesn't make sense. Where's the deer? Spot the deer. Number 1, January. For some reason, I had restitched this square down to about here. To be fair, it's 1/2 on 40 count, but it's still not much fun. So that Froglandia was not a fun place to be this month. But I did, considering I did frog half of it, and then I've got it restitched. It's stitching up really lovely. I think, I'm curious as to whether you think these things at the bottom are bees. Are they all bees or wasps, or what are they meant to be? Because there's a couple up here that are pretty much bees. I've established that they're bees. I assume the ones at the bottom are meant to be bees as well, but they look like wasps to me. I don't know why. Anyway, that's where we are. So that's July. Coming on, coming on, coming on. It would have been a lot further on if I hadn't had to go on my little trip. But I did. And I'm doing that 40 count ballet slippers, fox and rabbit, which I think I've just said, with all of the called for from Owl Forest. 1/2, I think I did say. Okay. Mirabilia. How did Mirabilia go, Sherrie? Well, Mirabilia went. Mirabilia came and Mirabilia went. Hang on. I need to just grab some juice to wet me whistle. It will be a nanosecond for you, but it'll be a wet your whistle stop for me. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Glass of Coke. Do you know, it's funny, I was just realising when I was downstairs that a Scout, one of my cats, came over to have his tummy stroked. And I was, because obviously you talk to your animals, don't you? And I'm going, Scout, I've got to go back up and see the Flosstube people. You can't keep me down here. And I literally, it made me laugh, because then it occurred to me that I literally think, I've got you hanging on waiting, I've got to come back to you. I forget that actually, I mean, are you waiting? I don't know. But you're not waiting like I think you're waiting. Like, it's not like a Zoom call where people are just hanging around waiting for you to join. But madness, madness, madness. Back to Mirabilia. So I had 4 mirrors. No, 3 mirrors and a Bella Filipina, which I was lumping in with my mirrors because it was a big fancy lady that I hadn't stitched on for a little while. So the whole point of Mirabilia was to get back to the bigger projects. I'm a bit like Shelley from the Antique Needleworkers. She gets this where she gets like big project fatigue. So I've got to have some small wins along the way, which is why my 24 and 24 seasonal, like the Halloween and the Quaker stitches, are just a godsend for me, actually. So anyway, this was about getting back to some of the bigger projects, rather than thinking I'm going to be stitching on them for a million years, to kind of pick them back up and fall back in love with them. So the first one was, is it Snow Queen? It is the Snow Queen by Mirror. And we had this conversation that she is a lady with a magnificent female reindeer, which is beautiful. And this was as far as I got. Moving the working thread out the way, because we all know how fond I am of a working thread. Let's pull her out so you can see her. So, what did I do? So, what I did do was, I could do with my glasses. I came down here further, so her bridle, is it bridle? Harness? Bridle? I did some more of that. I did a chunk more of the dark brown, so I got some of the chunks in, and I started putting in some of the fill in sort of around here, and moved down here to do some of the cream work around her there. So that was as far as I got with Snow Queen. But every time I pick her out, I think actually she is coming on, you know. Yes, I know there's a long way to go. And I'll always remember Lindsay from Blush and Pink Stitches said, it was a while ago, and she was doing a sal with other people. And she'd said, because I always get really anxious during sales. A lot of us do. I think it's like I've got to keep up. I've got to keep up. And she said she was doing it with another two people, and she said, I think they've finished theirs now, but I'm still enjoying mine. And I thought, now that's a nice way to put it. I'm still enjoying mine. So rather than I haven't finished this sal yet, like, oh my God, I haven't kept up, I'm still enjoying it. So yes, thank you, Lindsay, for that, because that really stuck with me. So I have remembered how much I'm enjoying her, and she is lovely, and she will be magnificent, absolutely magnificent. I'm doing that with all of the called for, even the fabric, because I got this kitted. I bought this all kitted when I was at Harrogate Knit and Stitch last year, from Hawkins Hobbies. And just as a heads up, they will kit, well, I'm saying they will kit any mirror for you. I reached out, it was Nightingale, which we'll get to, because I needed it kitten, but I had the fabric and I had the pattern, and they didn't even have it on their website, and I just reached out and said, is it, oh gosh, I can't remember her names, it's in, anyway, I reached out to them and said, I know you haven't got this as a pattern, but would you consider kitting it up for me? And they did. So they kitted it up and sent it out. So if you're struggling and you want something kitten up, just go to her. Because there's an awful lot of threads in a mirror project. So yes, this bag, Sarah, Not Enough Whip Bags. And this bag is the same. It is Sarah, Not Enough Whip Bags. I do like Sarah's bags. And this one is, when I can find the pattern, Gaia. So this is my Bella Filipina. Gaia, who has a massively special place in my heart, reasons of which I won't go into it now because time's moving on, but one day I'll tell you. One day I might yeah, because it would make me a little bit vulnerable if I told you. So I'd be like, oh, God, no, can't tell these people things. I'm such a wally, honestly. So, where are we with our Gaia? Oh, that's right. I know where we are with Gaia. Gaia, as much as I love her, has had to go on the naughty step for a little while because she's been very badly behaved. So I moved down here. I did some more down here. I did some more of the Krynic. I filled in a lot more of the Krynic up here, up here. I did our waistband. I moved up here to do her bodice. And then as I was coming up here, I tend to like stitching from top left down. That's just me, it's how I work. Mirrors, I find mirrors more difficult to start because they're not a top left picture kind of thing. The ones that I've done, there isn't a top left to start. It's yeah. So I've tended to do centre starts, apart from with the other lady, the Snow Queen. Anyway, so I wanted to work up and start and get to the top, and then I can work back down again, and then I'm more in my comfort zone of moving down, which is just the way I stitch. So I got all her hair in, and I got her face in. Spot the problem. Her face and her hair don't meet. One of them is wrong. I do not know which one, and I was a little bit ticked off with that. So Gaia, you will be beautiful, but I would rather your hair and your face were together, because that's kind of how it works. So I need to figure out, so I've decided what I'm going to do is go back to here and start and fill in and go up. I have counted again, and I think it was her face that was wrong, but I can't remember. I remember doing it at the time, thinking, oh, do you know what, I'm just done with this. I'm done. Gaia, you're on your own, honey, because I'm done. I'm done with this. But other than that, I did actually get a good bit of work done on her. And I do like stitching on her. The fabric is beautiful. The fabric is Daffodil by Fabric Flare, and it's a 32 count even weave. And I'm doing it with all the called for. Did I get this kitted up? Can't remember if I did. Or whether I went through kitting it. I can't remember. Can't remember. Okay, so we've got two more. Nightingale and Fairy Moon. I have got no more to show you. I have UFO'd both Fairy Moon and Nightingale. Why? Because I just wasn't happy. Fairy Moon I was doing on 32 count fibre on a whim. In fact, I'll get it if I can move. So I was doing it on 32 count, and I don't know whether you can see where I've actually frogged it there. I can see it, but I don't know if you can. It just wasn't sitting right. The more work I do on higher counts, the less I like stitching with two threads. And because it's an over-dyed 32 count, it's quite a tight weave, this one. And it wasn't sitting right at all. It didn't look right. So the top and bottom of it is this is where I need you to tell us what to do. I don't know whether to go to a 28 count over dyed or go back to a 32 count. I love stitching on this. I absolutely love this 32 even weave. The stitches sit nice, it's gorgeous. So I'm very, very tempted to get a 32 count even weave for all of my mirrors going forward. Would that be right? Use that are experienced mirror stitches. What would you think of that? I know some people do, and then I was like, well, I've heard some people do 28 count, maybe I should go, but will 28 count be too big for it? I don't know. I need a little bit of advice. I am and have come off Facebook for my own reasons, which again I won't go into, but it does mean that I kind of lose a lot of the Facebook groups and things that I would put these questions to. So you guys are my link to knowing more, because I just don't. I just don't know. So I really appreciate your experience with mirrors. Do I go to a 32 count even weave, as in with Gaia, who's stitching it quite nicely? Or do I go to a 28 count, in which case would an over-dyed fabric work well? Now, I don't necessarily think it has to be an over-dyed fabric, because the mirrors, for me, they're statement pieces, and they should be the statement, not the fabric. Whereas some of them, like me old sailing, I think the fabric has as big a place to play in as the threads do, because you're going to see a lot of the fabric. Whereas with a mirror, your eye wants to be on the actual piece, doesn't it? So, I hope you know what I'm asking you, because I'm kind of getting a bit lost now. Basically, what do I do to pull this back? I am not redoing Snow Queen. It is on the kitted fabric, which is the 32 count witch elt. I don't know how you pronounce it. So I'm doing it on that. And that's been complicated doing it. It's the part that I've done of the pattern. I would not go back. But equally, I won't pick that 32 count witch elt again. I know that's what they're done on, but there must be better stitches than me. I'm sure they are. Because I'm not a professional stitcher. I'm just somebody who enjoys doing a little hobby. So, and Fairy Moon was the same. I had gone wrong and I was a little bit frustrated with it, and I just wasn't enjoying the way it was looking. The threads weren't sitting right. It just, yeah. Help. I need somebody help, not just anybody. Help. Is that with a little help from my friends? Get by with a little help from my friends. Takes me into Sarah's Stitchy Spot, who's doing, she's hosting one of the, I don't know if it's Magical Mystery Tour, or if that's hosted by somebody else. But anyway, all the Beatles, the Strawberry Fairs, and Eleanor Rigby, the Blackbird one. Straight off on a tangent. Squirreled right out there, didn't I? So I can't show you Fairy Moon or Nightingale because they no longer exist in my stitching. I frogged Nightingale because I haven't done too much on it. Fairy Moon I cut, and I've kept the fabric that was left because it was a custom dye by Sophie, Stitchy Ferret, which is really lovely. Watch this space. Watch this space. So that is it. That is all of my stitching that I've done. So on to gifts and very exciting news. Very exciting news. So the first thing I bought myself, I didn't buy myself a huge amount. You'll be pleased to hear. In fact, we'll do Stitchy Kindness first because that was just lovely. as you know, I went to the Stacey Nash retreat in Cornwall a few weeks ago, and there was a lady going from Instagram. She's called Sarah Stonehouse. What's her number? What's her number? Like a prison number. She's not in prison, as far as I know. I mean, she might have been on day release. Who knows? I don't think she is. I don't know what I've done with my glasses. She is 5994. So Sarah Stonehouse 5994 on Instagram. And if you're not following her, you should. She's got fabulous, and she's one of these that can take fabulous pictures. Like, they just look amazing, the stuff she does. And she does fab finishes. Anyway, I digress. I've gone into fangirling Sarah. She was on the first set of days with Stacey, which was Sunday, Monday, I think, and I was on the Tuesday, Wednesday. So unfortunately I never got to meet her, but she had made some table gifts for our friends, and she had taken a spare one for me. Well, I don't think it's a spare one. She did one for me, and so, oh God, there's a red balloon. Hey, it never fails. These floss tubes, by the time I get to the end of them, there's always something happening. I don't know what's happening with Sleeping Bag Man. I haven't seen him for a little while. So I don't know if he's been kicked out. I don't know if he's sleeping in the garden. I've got no idea. Anyway, back to, where was I? Back to Sarah. So she couldn't give it to me, so she sent it to me. And it was wrapped beautifully in this gorgeous little paper bag. And then it was tied, and I untied it because I wanted to see it. And she gave me some finishing fabrics. And these are lovely. So there's a little piece of lace with a couple of buttons onto some fabrics, and this is like an embroidered piece. This is gorgeous. Embroidered piece of fabric, just lovely, and it was just tied, presented so beautifully. And I got a little, I can't show you it, but in here I got a little, it was a thimble with a little felted pin cushion in, a tiny one that she's made herself with little pins in, and I have put it somewhere safe. So we all know where it is. I will find it and I will show it to you. It is beautiful. I remember thinking that needs to go somewhere I can see it all the time. So when I decide where I see it all the time, I'll find it and show you. Honestly, it sounds like I'm not grateful, and I am massively grateful. It was the finishing fabrics were lovely, but that I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So a massive thank you, Sarah. Really, really grateful that you took the time out to send me something. The next thing I bought was a William Morris project bag. It is kitted up with something, which is part of my forward plans, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Isn't that gorgeous? And this is from the Turtle. Sophie at Turtle Based Stitches, or Pink Scissors Fabric. Pink Fabric Scissors. Pink. It goes, there's those three words involved in it. Pink, scissors and fabric. I can't remember which way around they go. Sophie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pink Scissors Fabric, I think it is. I think that's what it is. But this is beautiful. And she may be doing project bags for a new online shop that may be opening very soon. Speaking of new online shops that may be opening very soon, I had the delightful pleasure of helping Rachel, Talking Dog Stitcher, here on Flosstube and on Instagram. She is opening Talking Dog Stitcherie. So it's an online needle workshop, and I couldn't be more thrilled for her. She is a fabulous girl, she really is. Not that I would swap my daughter, although there's times I might think about it. But if I had to choose another daughter in this world, she would be it. She's just wonderful. And if you don't follow her, you should go over and see her, either on Instagram or Flosstube or both. But now she is starting this really exciting new venture. So I was helping to test our website. So I was doing like test buys and things because I only did it to help our website, didn't I? Not because I'm a bit of a cross-stitch aholic. Yeah. So from Rachel, I got, now her shop is opening on, she's just announced it on Instagram, it is opening on the 15th of June. And I know we'll all show her some huge support. So if you're thinking about ordering something, hold fire so you can support Rachel in her new venture. So this was one of the ones I asked her to source, and this was the Artsy Housewife Mellow Yellow, and I love this. And I have asked her to get the flower pot sampler for me as well, and I saw that it was Lauren from New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Stitcher. She stitched it on Instagram. She was the model stitcher for it, and it was fabulous. Absolutely. Again, she's another girl that you should watch if you haven't already. Silver Creek samplers, the camper sampler. I will do this in honour of my friend, the camping stitcher, Chris. I know she's already done it. I'm really looking forward to doing this, and this will remind me of every stitch. You know what I was talking about before? So all my stitching in this will surround, I'll probably be thinking about Chris and how kind she is and how lovely and all the rest of it. I got another Artsy Housewife, Pretty Bird. I love this. I'm not a bird stitcher. I'm just not. I'm not attracted to birds. Oh! I've just realised I missed another whip. Oh, I'll have to show you next time. Never mind. Yeah, I'm generally not a bird stitcher, but I love this. Another Silver Creek samplers, Fly By Night, Flying Lesson it's called. And I love that. And I love this. Blackbird, Bringing Good Cheer. This reminds me of my Grandad Joe. Now he died when I was only about 6, but I have got memories of him. He was lovely, he was a lovely man. And me mum, because it was my mum's dad, my mum used to always say, at Christmas he would always say, have a cup of cheer. He was a Quaker, was me Grandad Joe. We were all raised Methodist, well, I go to the Methodist church. I think I bought this ages ago. I'm pretty sure I didn't get it from Rachel, but for some reason it was sitting in my pile of gifts. I think I gifted this to me a little while ago, but I'm going to show you just because it was there, and I thought, oh well, it's not going to do any harm, is it? I think I've maybe getting it out thinking, do I want to start and kit that up? And to be very, very, very kind from Rachel to say thank you for the sort of the testing and things that I've been doing. She sent me this. Isn't this just bloody gorgeous? Bloody, bloody, bloody gorgeous. Dutch red flower sampler. That will be getting kitted very, very soon. And that is all the gifts I got myself. I'm trying to behave because I'm going to Big Stitch. And there's going to be all sorts of exciting shops there that I wouldn't normally see. So, forward plans. the one that's kitted in here, will be getting started either today or tomorrow. My friend Shelly, it's her birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday for tomorrow, Shelly. Her and Rachel are doing the Raven Queen. They're starting the Raven Queen. Is it the Raven Queen? I think it's, I don't think it's the Raven Queen. I think it's another one. It's a one that's like a bright pink. It's a mirror that was a bright pink. And I remember saying, oh, I'd love to do that, but I don't really want to kit up another mirror. However, I have got some little mirrors. So I am jumping in. I am totally ambushing there Sal with Xenia. Nora COVID. So I will be starting that. I am starting it on, I thought it was today. Apparently it's not, it's tomorrow. But I might start today. And I'm doing it on Sparkly's bubblegum. So I have kitted it all up. All the DMC. And I think that'll look fab. 32 count. It does have a few beads in, not a huge amount, but it does have a few. So I will be starting that. I will be finishing the one, hopefully, that I forgot to bring and show you, which is my Stacey Nash start, because I've done quite a lot on her. What's it called? Mary Robards. I've done quite a lot on her. So I think she's probably down by my bed, which is probably where I've left it. So the only things I have left I'm going to try and keep on with my Bella and my mirror. I'm going to keep trying to do at least one day. And when I say one day, you see, for them, I like to get it out like on a day I've got a full day. So like a Saturday or a Sunday. So I'm going to try and keep them in my rotation for at least one day every weekend, even if it's alternating which one I pick up. So I'm going to try and keep them going. I would like to finish a little bit more of the 24s and 24s that I've got. What else? I've got me salad starting tomorrow, which with Rachel and Shelley. There's something else. I'm sure there's another sal I'm doing. One of these days I'll make notes and then I won't forget things. No, because I will. I'll forget to write them down. Okay. Giveaways. 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 Pirate. Last week's giveaways. The one before. We had Needleworker and Pirate. The lady from who won the Pirate, Donna Van Gemmerenburn 5080, hasn't been in touch yet. Donna, if you can give me a shout, and I can get this in the post to you wherever you happen to be in the world. So last week we had Needleworker. No, we didn't. Needleworker was with Pirate, wasn't it? Because that was, Susan won that. But Susan has been in touch with me, so that's fine. Last week was, that's right, it was the kit. Art Nouveau, Lady with Birds. And the person who won this has won one of my giveaways before. It is Betsy Paints 2284. Betsy, I've probably still got your address somewhere. But if you can just give me a nudge and send it again, and I'll get this in the post to you. I think you're in America or somewhere. I think. I'm sure it's international. I'm sure. Could be wrong. And the person who won the cow with the haystack that he's sitting on was Kirsty Vink 8248. So Kirsty Vink 8248. Kirsty, if you can get in touch with me and let me know where you are in the world, I will get that in the post to you. So this week's giveaways are One of them is a giveaway I've had before, but the person never got in touch, and it is a Honey of a Tiny Town, heart and hand. So it's just the chart, there's no buttons, no embellishments included, but it is just the chart. So I'll re-give this away. I could have picked from the video that it was, I could have re-picked, but that was like 3 videos ago, which was a while ago. So I thought it's best to do a new one, and then whoever's watching this can apply. So again, we'll say honey for that. So Honey of a Tiny Town, we'll say honey. And another one of the Cottage Garden samplings, the Farmer. So for that we will say Farmer. So Honey of a Tiny Town and Farmer. Answers on a postcard, please. Okay, are we coming to the end? We are coming to the end. Yeah. Today's inspiration or final thought comes from somewhere. It's one of my jotted down on a piece of paper for when I'm feeling I need a dose of inspiration, which is quite often. I haven't got who the author was on this one. But it's with my daughter. My daughter turned up yesterday. She came back yesterday from San Francisco, and she will be heading off to Athens in a couple of days, back on her tour that she's working on with a rather large band. So it'll be a whistle stop tour, and she's done off with my car, so I'm grounded. But with her in mind, final thought for today is life was meant for a great adventure. Bye for now.